Y'all listen up as I narrate the Vector's tale. A man from afar riding the temporal gale. Ronin by name and a Ronin by fate. In the tapestry of time he's got a date. He ain't just saving, he's exploring the rift. In the timelines he travels, he's given a lift. Seeking tech and secrets in a world that's gone astray. Ronin's the man who's gonna find a way. Ronin Vector, the chrono navigator. In the flow of time, he's the prime innovator. Exploring the realms where few dare to venture. He's the Ronin Vector, the timeline's avenger. From a future so bright to our present so bleak, he's the silent watcher, the tech he does seek. Not just a savior, but a seeker of lore. Ronin's the key to what we're looking for. Through the ruins and the relics, he's making his mark. A beacon of hope in the timeline so dark. With every secret he finds, every piece he retrieves. He's crafting a future nobody believes. Ronin Vector, with a vision so clear. In the shadows of time, he's got nothing to fear. An explorer at heart, with a will that won't sever. He's the Ronin Vector, forever and ever. So when you feel the ground shake and the air gets colder, know that Ronin's passing by as the world grows older. In the whispers of time, his legends inscribed. Ronin Vector, the man who defied. Ronin Vector, the chrono navigator. In the flow of time, he's the prime innovator. Exploring the realms where few dare to venture. He's the Ronin Vector, the timeline's avenger. Ronin Vector, with a vision so clear. In the shadows of time, he's got nothing to fear. An explorer at heart, with a will that won't sever. He's the Ronin Vector, forever and ever. So when you feel the ground shake and the air gets colder, know that Ronin's passing by as the world grows older. In the whispers of time, his legends inscribed. Ronin Vector, the man who defied.
Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whenever you are, wherever you are. My name is Ronin Vector, it's in the song. And also joining us today is the god of Daft Punk, due to I'm just taking a guess, a eBay purchase gone wrong, you know? You think you're just buying a nice helmet modeled after Daft Punk, and before you know it, you're waking up in the middle of a concert, you know? Tale as old as time. But welcome everyone to my show, for lack of a better name. One day I'll think of something clever. But we're getting back into more X-Men today. I was a little late today because I saw that Comics Explained dropped the new I'm not even sure what it's called. Alien Kills the Marvel Universe. That whatever they're calling it. Aliens versus Marvel, whatever you want to call it. Fucking great comic, beautifully dark. I'm having a great time following the story. It is too bad though, it only comes out like once every 4 or 5 months or something. But it's a great comic book. Go read it, go listen to it. It's awesome. If you like Alien, you like Marvel, you like watching superheroes die, go watch a video about it. It's good. I promise. And also, today I was kind of going over some of the Age of Apocalypse stuff, not to be confused with Days of Future Past. The future timeline in X-Men and Marvel in general, where everything goes shitty and wrong. And you know, going through these early issues and then going through some of the early stuff chronologically in Age of Apocalypse, it's cool seeing like Magneto's version of the X-Men, how their training styles are different. The people that ended up on the team first. It's a great, uh, just a great altering telling, just a great what if timeline of like if Xavier fucked off early. So it's been firing me up, man. I like this comic book stuff. I like learning about the oldies and seeing how it all connects and still manages to stay relevant today. Something that surprised me about this series is like when I compare it to the animated series, the original one from the 80s that everybody loves, or 90s, not 80s. Um, I was surprised how true the cartoon sticks to some of these plots in the comics, despite how old some of these are and like the different cast of characters that they use to tell the story. Because in the animated series, we don't have Warren and Iceman on the team. It's Gambit, Storm, Wolverine, sometimes Mimic, and not Mimic. What's his name? Is it Mimic? Anywho, it's interesting how they rolled over some of these earlier plot elements into a more into a more contemporary story, which at the time would have been the 90s. So not not necessarily contemporary by today's standards, but it's interesting how the concepts evolved and but how true they stuck towards the themes and the meat and potatoes of the story. So I'm pretty impressed as far as retroactively recognizing how good, even further good, the animated series did with adapting these stories. So I love it. I'm going to keep learning more. If you're new, if you're new to this video series, this is a live reading of the old X-Men series, but it is as much as a discussion. So I'm going to be messing up a lot. We're going to stop and react to stuff as we see it, you know. So with that in mind, X-Men number 15. With yesterday, we were introduced the Sentinels and Bolivar Trask, two huge elements of X-Men. And within the same comic, he introduces them and they immediately rebel. Like it took 2 seconds. Now, why they waited to do it on like national live TV, I will never know. Because had they just like skipped that part, then there probably wouldn't be like a panic. I don't know. But then again, these Sentinels keep on coming back. So apparently these Sentinels don't wear in the goodwill of the general public. Um, So it's interesting. I'm surprised that they showed up this early into the comic series. I mean, we got hundreds and hundreds of issues to go through. So it'll be interesting to see how they evolve it within the time frame that they tell these stories. And like, this comes at a time when I think AI wasn't really all that talked about. So it's neat. It's got a lot of relevance for today. It's like imagine if we developed a robotic police force and once they were done keeping you safe from everybody that you felt was dangerous, well, now they're coming to protect you a little more directly. They tell you where to go, what to eat, where to work, who to fuck. So these are all concepts that uh, are old that people have been fearful of, but it seems like every day we get a little closer to the things that are the things that we want in fiction for as much as the good things that are there that we want. Like take cell phones from Star Trek, for example. Like they were all over that way before cell phones were a thing, you know? But with that comes all the bad stuff too, you know? With autonomous robots that can protect us comes with the possibility that, they're vulnerable to shitty programming, hacking. Who knows? There are probably dangers we haven't even conceived of yet when it comes to AI. For all we know, getting nuked by Skynet is like the least worst option. So, with all that in mind, let's go through some details. Released on October 5th, 1965, and I believe now they're a monthly publication at this point. So we might get a couple more issues before the year is over. We'll see. As far as like when this was released at their time. Because had this been before their monthly publication time, I imagine that this would have been the last issue of the year. So October 5th, 1965, we got Stan Lee on deck for writer and editor, penciler Jack Kirby, Jay Gavin, inker Dave Ayers, and letterer Artie Simek. Let's get a good look at this cover. You got to take it all in. Also, I'm gonna smoke a little bowl here, and I'll cue up the music. So apparently, we get the origin of the beast in this. Can't imagine it's terribly deep. Like, he's basically just a monkey, man. And he, aside from his feet, he looks pretty normal. And so I'm curious, like, how they can make his origin intriguing. Like, because I suspect it's just going to be, I got picked on for being big and strong. People loved me in sports until they didn't, that kind of thing. But I could be wrong. They are trying to put a more brainy spin on him. So I'm curious. I don't actually know anything about his origin before he joined the X-Men. I think something that's interesting too that gets more explored in alternate timelines is how Beast from the get-go, he has a chip on his shoulder about humanity. Like part of him wants to be like, fuck these guys, like we should be ruling them. Like I feel like that's deep down in him, things he said in the past. So, seeing him become his Dark Beast counterpart in Age of Apocalypse, it makes a lot of sense, I feel like in a world where he never met Charles Xavier, someone that not only understood where he came from on a mutant level, but is somewhat of a scientist, an intellectualist on his level, I feel like there was enough to keep Beast grounded there with the X-Men long enough to, for the appreciation of humanity to bleed through, because this version of Beast, I think, gets a human girlfriend for a minute, I imagine the Beast in an alternate timeline just threw him into the breeding pens, Dark Beast is a dickhead. So I love seeing like some of these seeds that don't necessarily get expanded on in the main series, but that definitely get blown up in their alternate counterparts. And I got a thing for like evil scientists. I don't know. I love them. Like Mr. Sinister, love him. Dark Beast, love him. So probably says more about me though. I think to myself that if all these things were real, superpowers, gods, whatever, mutants, who wouldn't be a scientist? Like, I feel like our world would be more like the Venture Brothers, where you always got super scientists turning into villains, you know? Any world where stuff like this is real, people are going to dedicate their lives to getting a small piece of it if you're not born into it, you know? So I think that's why I tend to relate to more of the villains that are evil scientists trying to engineer the ultimate life form or whatever bullshit they're into. Trying to create a better future through science. You know, like that's the Maker. That's one of the reasons why he's my favorite villain. Like, I relate to that so hard. Using the power of time travel and your technical know-how to literally engineer new universes. Who wouldn't do it if they could? Yeah, so when I sit here and think about it, like, Magneto is one of my favorite villains also, but if I throw away all my morals, I stop caring about humanity and, like, life in general. Sinister, the Maker, villains like that, I just love. Now, interestingly enough, I don't care for villains like Bolivar Trask, where he's basically just, like, racist against mutants. I mean, and it's, you know, you'd think it'd be up my alley because the man creates sentient robots that can create more sentient robots. So I suppose it's not like I'm attracted to every single one. You know, as a man once said, humans are a resource, and I don't really care for the villains that, for the most part, that just want to destroy the world, like, and twirl their mustache. There's very few I appreciate like that. Like, the Joker and Carnage would be good examples of villains I do like that, but I like villains that believe in what they're doing, like, without shame. Whether because they believe they're right, or because they just are so unashamed and just don't care. Like, they have a goal in their mind and they're willing to see it through no matter what. I appreciate that. I do. So with all that ranting and smoking aside, X-Men number 15. Extra in this epic, the origin of the beast. Here we go. X-Men, the most unusual fighting team of all time. I feel like they used to say the most unusual teenage fighting team or something. I wonder why they're ditching the teenager angle. Maybe because they want them to start banging soon? I don't know. Prisoners of the mysterious Master Mold. The Sentinels have spotted us. We're under attack. That seems to be painfully obvious right now. Our strange saga so far, searching for the unhuman Sentinels who were built by Dr. Bolivar Trask for the purpose of finding and destroying mutants, the X-Men stumble onto the Sentinels' hidden fortress. And then, while the fanatical Dr. Trask is a prisoner of his own monstrous Sentinels, who have rebelled against his authority, the X-Men's deadly ordeal begins. The Professor, we've got to protect him fast. Look at Jean just falling on her ass. Out of everybody, she should be the one not falling on her ass. I am unhurt. Your main objective is to strike back at the Sentinels. Wowie! They're going all out to finish us off. But there are so many of them, and They're so powerful. Angel, that chasm behind the professor, hurry! Hold on, sir. I won't let you fall. I told you, do not let me hamper your battle strategy. I'm not as helpless as you may think. Dude, you can't use your legs. You're falling into a chasm. What was he gonna do? Tell me, old man in wheelchair, how capable you are of falling down a cliff. I'm just saying. But, sir, no buts. You're all in the gravest of dangers. Protect yourselves. And going through Age of Apocalypse, something that something I noticed as the main difference in leaders as far as the alternate reality Magneto and current reality Xavier. Magneto is hard as fuck on the X-Men. Like, you know, oh, you think you did a good job? Well, Apocalypse would probably flick a booger at you and you would die. So, did you do a good job? You know what I mean? Like, he's that kind of guy. But he also trains with them. Like, when he's in the danger room, he's there with them, getting hurt, succeeding, failing. He's part of the team. So I noticed that Xavier, like, while he sometimes goes on missions, I feel like even then, there's still something that separates him from the situation. I don't know if it's just the nature of his powers or, like, because he's in a wheelchair, I feel that way, but you know, that's something I noticed about a main difference, and I kind of I have a different appreciation for Magneto in that regard, because like Magneto would be like I feel like if he really needed it, he would be like, oh, good save, but keep focused on the battle, you know, because Magneto is just as part of the team as any other X-Men. Where Xavier seems pretty quick to be like, no, let me fall down the chasm. I can take care of myself, you know. No, man, no. You're a team. So in a weird way, alternate reality Magneto is better at teamwork, I guess. But his authoritarianism sometimes prevents like meaningful discussion from happening. So that's the danger of having someone like Magneto as your leader. And to be fair, Xavier can be that way sometimes too. Like, you are either on the train or off the train, fuckers, you know. I wonder how the professor would have saved himself if... Uh-oh, no time to worry about that now. If any of these careening boulders dent my noble cranium, I'll be bye-bye beast. Okay, so he's got the same, like... See, he is the smart one of the group. If those sentinels are powerful enough to make nature go wild this way, then the professor was right about the impending danger. Whoosh. Holy smoke, the ground is opening up under my feet. For once I envy the angel. At least he can fly. Of course you make a pole, Bobby. But there's one thing I can do. Being able to build my own ice bridge comes in pretty handy sometimes. Iceman, all of you move! Those booties. The booties need to go. He doesn't wear booties now, right? I'm not crazy. Because the booties look dumb. I don't even think you need to show the shorts either, like... Maybe they just didn't want to make him look like the Silver Surfer. Maybe they were trying to, like, distinguish him a little bit better. It's like, the harder you try, though. I don't know. Head for the high ground. You're in jeopardy every second you remain where you are. And how would have you taken that advice? By your own admission that you're not helpless? How would you have gotten up there, old man? His brain never stopped. Somehow, I'll bet he could have saved himself. That's a lot of faith, man. I hope like he like reveals he's got like some Iron Man suit underneath his suit because the Beast has the right brain thinkings here. Like, how the fuck would he though? Hank, you heard the professor. Keep moving. Tut tut, deputy leader. Have you no regard for chivalry? I merely pause to offer assistance to a young damsel in distress. I'm hardly a damsel in distress, Mr. McCoy, if you'll kindly step aside. I shall levitate. Oh, there we go. Are you sure it's not teleport? Sure it's not teleport this time? I fucking love using the word teleport instead of levitate or any other word. Just saying. I don't know why it bothers me so much. I shall levitate myself out of danger telekinetically, or have you forgotten why I'm called Marvel Girl? Ah, how I longed for the olden days when maidens fainted at the drop of a hat. If you don't start climbing, Hank, you're liable not to be around for any newer days. How about this ice ladder of mine, psych? Boy, wouldn't we make a dandy fireman? Climb up. Keep climbing. Save your energy. Old party poop. Yeah, 1 second. I gotta check my soup. Smells off. Like it's burning. I'm using a crock pot to make broth, but it smells strange. Minutes later, we seem to have climbed out of effective range of their nature activator rays. But we've got to invade that fortress before they can launch a new attack against us. They're still firing. If we hadn't climbed to safety, we'd be finished. Pushing. And most important of all, we must learn what was meant by the words Master Mold. Batang. Boom. So some kind of energy ray. How do we get in, sir? It looks impossible. I've spent years drumming into you nothing is impossible. If I could only learn why that sentinel toppled over in the TV studio. Remember when it happened last issue? Stab. What good would that do? What good would that do? What good would it do if every sentinel just dropped down on its knees and died? I wonder what the advantage would be. It proves they have a weak spot, and our lives may depend on finding it. What is he doing? What is Bobby making now? I'm trying to ignore the... Okay. I guess this is part of the plan. We're doing this. I don't know if those look like two erect nipples or like just whatever. I guess I got a dirty mind. Your first task is to get across the chasm, Iceman. Plan G. Yes, sir. I'll have the glider built in no time. Good work, Bobby. Now, I'll supply the motive power. Hold tight, fellas. I'll have to apply nearly maximum power. Shoot the works, Psych. We're big boys now. What am I looking at? What are we doing here? And why is anyone mad that Iceman is gay later? How could anyone be mad? This doesn't seem very dignified, but I suppose it's necessary. You're telling me. You're telling me. Are you sure you can do it, Scott? It has to be done, so I'll do it. Remember, Scott, it must be perfect the first time. What am I looking at? What am I even looking at here? Yeah, check out my soup again. It's making weird noises now. Yeah, that's right. I was right. Something was wrong. My crock pot burned it for some reason. I've never had it burn before making broth. It's strange. But that's why I've got an electronic crock pot that automatically keeps track for me. The power of automation. Yeah, it was the smell of my soup burning. That's what was wrong. Oh, the broth of the soup. I'm making pho later. Got my bean sprouts, got my lime, got basil, got my noodles. I'm good to go. Yeah, this just is just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at. And you notice how quick he made this? Like, I bet he knew how to make this before there was even a plan. I don't know why. To what end? Slowly, calmly, Cyclops estimates the amount of power blast energy he'll need. Then, as his eyes begin to close, his visor starts to raise. So, the intensity of the blast is based on the shutter opening, then? Interesting. Higher and higher goes the visor until it is completely open. But still, the most dangerous eyes in all the world remain tightly shut as the youthful mutant stands perfectly motionless. And then, with the force of a lightning bolt, his eyelids snap open as a frantic cry escapes his lips. Now! A perfect launch, Scott. Now quickly, Angel, fly after them in case they need help. Was this really the most efficient way of getting over there? No matter who is attacking us from that fortress, here's where they learn that nobody pushes the X-Men around. Bobby, the ice skimmer is wobbling dangerously. Your design is aerodynamically accurate. Aerodynamically, okay, I said that like a moron. Your design isn't aerodynamically accurate. What do you want for 10-second job? A B-52? Assuming that's like a World War II era bomber or passenger jetliner. Not really. I'm not up on my plane knowledge. They're gonna fall. Hold on, I'll be right there. The sooner the better, son. But before the winged wonder can seize his falling friends... Oof! Mechanical tentacles, they just barely missed me. Whish. Look out, Angel, something's caught us. Don't let it grab you. Sounded like the greased up death guy for some reason. We're being drawn into the fortress, caught like sitting ducks. Iceman, are you okay? Is anything hurt? Only my pride, partner. I can't turn back now. Maybe I can make it into the fortress with them. We'll get him yet, fellas. I'm right behind you. No, turn back, Angel. You can't do anything alone. You've got to bring the others. Shame on you, beastie. Might want me to lose my superhero's license? But suddenly, a great gusher of flame shoots out of the narrow opening. Ooh, if I'd been a second slower, I would have had my wings singed permanently. Looks like there was more truth than fiction in what Hank said. I'd better zoom back and do some brainstorming with the others. Meanwhile, within the strange fortress, deposit them in transparent cage. Good, good. Now what? I assume your question is purely rhetorical. They're covering the top of this cubicle with a sheet of sliding glass. Too late to stop it. Maybe we're being gift-wrapped and shipped to the Avengers. Forgive me if I don't chortle over your woe-begone wisecrack, little friend. Oh no, now they're filling this thing with some kind of gas. Getting groggy. Must be some type of quick-acting sleeping vapor. Well, it sure isn't chicken soup. It is done? They are asleep? It was a simple matter to defeat the invading humans. So shall we defeat any and all humans who dare defy the Sentinels? This is madness. You cannot take over the machines which I have created. You don't know what you're doing. We know far more than you suspect, Dr. Trask. Did not you yourself create us? No, you sound fucking stupid. I made smart robots. Look at him get all red. He's gonna turn into the fucking Red Hulk. No, I created the master mold, only he can create additional sentinels. But you were made for only one purpose, to guard the human race from mutants. That is your only duty. We can only guard the human race by becoming its master. Humans are too weak and too foolish to govern themselves. Henceforth we shall rule. No, you cannot enslave all of mankind. Wow, so this asshole got warning signs this early, and at some point, like, you know what? This could work out. I'll sell it to the government or whatever. What's going on here? Like, this guy. He's not so smart. They need to pull his doctor's license. We have the power to do whatever we wish. Nothing can stop us. Now come. We shall take you to the Master Mold. You shall help him create more Sentinels. Enough to overrun all the universe. Wow, the universe. So they've already got their sights on the universe. Like, yeah, good. Okay, here we go. What have I done? What unthinkable menace have I unleashed? What has science done? Not me, science. Science did this. Seconds later, he who had been the master is brought before the one who has made him a helpless slave. Boulevard Trask, I have summoned you to serve me. Though you have given me the power, I do not possess the knowledge to create other Sentinels. You shall do it for me. Yeah, my headcanon is that he makes them sound dumber, so that's how you know he's the leader. Because when you're when you all look like this, you gotta have something to lord over aside from being big and pooping him out, whatever he's doing. No, never. I cannot betray the entire human race. I'd rather die. Your wish shall be instantly granted if the Master Malt so commands. Remember the weapons you have given me. I can destroy half your nation. Refuse to serve me, and you'll be responsible for the carnage that results. You mean you'd attack mankind? My sentinels and I are not human. We have no feelings, no emotions. We are capable of anything. But the X-Men will fight you. They'll find some way to destroy you all. Fool! Did you not create us to destroy the X-Men? We are too powerful. They will be helpless before us. We have already captured 2 of them. I shall study them before I order them destroyed. Meanwhile, outside the Fantastic Fortress again, Iceman and the Beast were captured. I was too late to save them. We know. We witnessed the entire tableau. Tableau? We witnessed the entire tableau. Tableau? I have no idea what that means or says. You did your best, Angel. Unfortunately, you're not made of asbestos. Not even sure what... Oh, yeah, fireproof. All right. You did your best, Angel. Unfortunately, you're not made of asbestos. But what do we do? How? What? But what do we do how? But what do we do how? That sentence makes no fucking sense, right? I'm not crazy, am I? But what do we do how? How do we save them? That must be now. That must mean now, not how. I just didn't fix it. But what do we do now? How do we save them? How do we get into the fortress? Good question, Gene. They seem to have enough built-in weapons to stop an army. An army, perhaps, but we are the X-Men. No military force on Earth can equal our unique powers. Though I cannot control the mechanical brain of a Sentinel, I can still strike it with a bolt of pure mental energy. How? How does that work? I didn't know that he could, physically manifest his powers. I guess that's kind of in line with, what we see of Cassandra Nova and what's his name? Onslaught, because Cassandra Nova, theoretically, is supposed to be Charles Xavier if he was, on 10. He unlocked every single power, was running at maximum efficiency. It's implied that he can not only manifest things through mental energy, but warp and control reality if he so chooses. On what level, we're not sure. Probably not on the same level as, say, Scarlet Witch, but, alright, I'll accept it. But it looks like it... Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. See if it works out the way he thinks. Though I cannot control the mechanical brain of a Sentinel, I can still strike it with a bolt of pure mental energy. Somewhere behind those walls, Sentinels are operating the weapons that guard that fortress. If I blank out their minds, I nullify their weapons. Great, Professor. If you can douse those rays before we strike before they know it. Right, I said that weird. If you can douse those rays, we can strike before they know it. Exactly. The time has come for me to be an active participant in our battle. First, I shall mentally trace the rays to their original source. We'll stand ready, sir. Once those rays go out, we move. When did he get his chair back? Okay, it was there. I think I just ignored it. Silence. Do not make a sound. Do not move a muscle. I have trapped the rays. I'm following them. Following now. In that instant, the master weaponry control room of the Sentinel Fortress. I don't know. Why are they making audible noises? They're robots, right? Robots? Why are they... Whatever. It's the same issue I have with the Borg. Like, why did the Borg even ever open their mouths unless it's like to threaten them? What has befallen our gunnery specialist? This is passing strange. They have been affected by some unknown outside source. Our repel guns and rays must be attended. These stricken ones must be replaced. Your words have much substance, but it cannot be done without the section leader's approval. There will be a delay, for we dare not violate our programmed instructions. Then the section leader must be contacted at once. But, even as the Sentinel speaks, his section leader is attending to other matters. Follow me. The prisoner has been summoned by the Master Mold. Thus, moments later, place the subject under the mental psychoprobe. He looks like a plush for like a failed transformer. Disobey me and I give the order to attack the nearest city of humans. No, you mustn't. I'll obey. I'll do it. Wow, so what, he's got to do like a... I thought he was going to like do a fucking autopsy while he's alive on him or some shit. The psychoprobe will make this X-Men reveal his every innermost secret. A small enough price to pay for sparing an entire city. Click. And then and there, under the irresistible influence of the strange psycho being, the captive beast begins to speak in slow, emotionless tones. I am the beast. I serve the X-Men. Our mission, protect mankind from evil mutants and any or all dangers that may befall. Their mission, protect mankind. How... Oh wait, no, that's, Trask. Their mission, protect mankind. How wrong I was about them. What dread harm I've done. What has science done? But, even as the beast rambles on, if only the professor could be with us. I am with you, following every move mentally. All our powers will be needed for this assault. Oh man, it's never not goofy when someone's sitting on the angel's back like that. So awkward. Level off, Warren. Soon as you're in position, I'll use my optic blast power against the fortress. Let's hope it works, Psych. If not, the professor better start recruiting a new team pronto. Look, a ray gun. It's pointed right at us. I know, I'm surprised it was an Iceman on his back. It's all right, Gene. Stay back. I'll take care of it. Bullseye. Good work. Oh wait, no, that's Warren. Bullseye. Good work, Psych. No time for backpatting now, Warren. This'll rouse all of them. Every second counts. But what? What if Bobby and Hank? Do you think they... I can't say it. Then don't. Fearing the worst won't help us now. Easy, I see someone up ahead. They won't trouble us. They're the ones the professor put out of action. Boys, look out! Boy, he is sure a handy gent to have around. A sentinel. Easy. See what he does. Humans? I was not programmed to expect additional ones. Does he not know that they're mutants? Like, they know what the X-Men look like. For fuck's sake, one has wings on his back. These really are first-gen Sentinels. Because they are weird and dumb as fuck. Section leader will know what to do with you. Psych, why don't we just put him out of action now? Well, that advantage is ours. No, he's only a pawn. It's the leader we want. I hope you're right, Scott. He'd better be right. You may, who's thinking right now? I'm gonna guess that's Warren. Or is he talking to himself? No, okay, that's Professor X. Alright. Well, ambiguous. We made the right decision, Scott. But always remember, with the pride of leadership goes with the weight of responsibility. You must be able to bear them both. I'll do my best, sir. But it's sure good to know you're mentally monitoring our progress. We're reaching the end of the passageway. Meanwhile, under the Psycho Probe, the Beast continues to talk. My father was an ordinary laborer, an atomic project. At an atomic project, I probably gained my power due to radiation, which... This is the same thing, the same origin they gave Professor X. They said the same exact thing. They said Professor X said his father worked on the atomic bomb and whatever. I guess it's not the bomb, it's just an atomic project. But that's interesting to me because they kind of lean more in on this in the Ultimate Universe, the original Ultimate Universe, where mutants weren't like a naturally occurring evolution. They were basically being manufactured. The X gene. It's what causes Magneto to basically give up. Because he thought he was going to be the next big thing, like, that was going to lead them out of humanity. But no, they're just another creation of humanity. In a different way. One day, he lost his job, and so we moved to another city. The neighborhood bullies picked on me because I was a new arrival, and also because of my anthropoid physique. But I myself did not suspect the powers I possessed. I knew it, didn't I call it?
Beat it, ugly. If you want someone to play with, go find yourself another monkey.
Go on, Charlie, face him one.
Hey, what gives? I can't nab him. He hops around like a jumping bean.
You aren't going to hit me.
Stand still, I dare ya. Stand still for just a minute.
Like most young boys, I couldn't resist a dare, and so...
There, that'll teach you. Hey!
I can't stop in time. Screech!
Look out for that car, look out!
And then... hiccups a little. And that was when I first realized I possessed powers. greater than any normal human. What happened? Where'd he go? Did you see that? But after that, it was no better. Where they had once made fun of me, now they feared me. I became lonelier than ever. Forgive the interruption. Emergency. Ray guns put out of action. Request instructions. What? There must be more mutants in our midst. Prepare for combat action. Follow me. Mutants are our natural enemies. They must be found and destroyed wherever they exist. We are all so programmed. They shall not escape us. While just a few hundred yards away, Scott, Warren, and there, look. Iceman, imprisoned in some sort of glass cubicle. Bobby is there, but where's the beast? We'd got to get him out of there. Stop. Your orders were to follow me. Angel, what's he going to do? It doesn't matter, Genie. I won't give him the chance. I've been itching to do this since we got here. What? We must stop him for Bobby's sake. Warren's punch shook him up but didn't topple him. Nothing short of a battering ram could do that. But if I could move his legs enough to hurl him off balance with my telekinetic power... I did it! Whoa! Right at his fucking face. And then, and even as the unhuman Leviathan falls, whack. Body's been gassed. He's got to have air as soon as possible. It's worked. He's coming around to now. Ooh-wee, my poor aching head. Bobby, the beast, what happened to him? I don't know. I can't remember. They must have taken him away while you were unconscious. But if you're still alive, then there's hope. Where are the others? How long was I out? How about cluing a guy in? I'll have to fill you in as we go along, Bobby. Every second may be vital now. Then, as if to emphasize the gravity of Marble Girl's remark, listen, bells ringing all over the place. Clang, 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 clang. It's a warning system. I flew back to tell you. The whole fortress is on the alert. But in the vast chamber of the Master Mold, all is calm as the titanic unhuman listens to the beast's tale, secure in the knowledge of his own power and vulnerability. And then you won a scholarship to college. Now continue your biography. He can't possibly give a shit about any of this. Not unless he's already invented time travel or something. But wait, what about the alarms that just went off? My sentinels will handle any emergency. I need fear nothing. I am supreme, as you well know, for you created me this way. I excelled at everything. Scholastically, I was ahead of my class, and in sports, I was unbeatable. Compared to my agility, they're like statues. This is almost the same exact origin as Professor X, except he's a beast. But my own natural enthusiasm got the better of me. One day, after scoring a goal, I kicked off my shoes and leaped for the goal post. So this is where their differences start to split. He wanted the adoration, irregardless of any advantage. We did it! We won the conference championship!
McCoy, get down from there!
Look at McCoy! He's like a beast!
Nobody can do that. Nobody's you, man.
The name Beast stuck to me, but worse than that, the suspicions started forming. Suspicions that I wasn't completely human. But luckily for me, a very unusual person became interested in the write-up about me. Beast leaves football field, refuses to answer newsmen's questions about his alleged powers. Before long, we had a very special guest to dinner. Henry McCoy, mind your manners. Have you forgotten we have company? It's all right, Mrs. McCoy. I'm anxious to observe your son under all conditions. Just do what you want with him. Just what do you... I'm sorry, I'm having a stroke. It's the Beast, just having some coffee. Just what do you want with Hank, mister? He may seem strange to others, but he's a good boy, do hear? We're terribly proud of Henry, despite other people calling him a freak. That's why I'm here. Your son can go through life as a freak or a benefactor of the human race. The choice is yours. I want to take him and train him as like some sort of dancing monkey. He will work the circus. Meanwhile, across the chasm from the Sentinel's fortress, Professor Xavier, mentally scanning the area, suddenly gasps with alarm. And cannot help himself. Under that psychic probe, he's telling too much. I've got to stop him before he gives away too many of our secrets. I mean, to be honest, like, they used to call him a beast in his childhood, and then he took the superhero name, the Beast. Is anyone really going to be confused about who he is? Like, I know they didn't have Google back then, so it's probably less of a worry, but, I don't know about that. I don't know. I would have picked at least like Professor Beast or something like that, you know, something to separate yourself, because the Beast is not, but just putting the in front of it is not going to confuse anyone. That's my TED Talk on superhero names. Although I'm confined to this chair, which luckily Jean levitated from where it had fallen below, I have got to take a desperate gamble. I'll send my invisible astral image to where Hank is. It's the only thing that can help him now. Being unsolid, nothing can prevent me by entering any place I choose. This brings on kind of an important point, like, why isn't he scouting ahead for everybody all the time? Like, why doesn't he do this all the time? Whatever, I'm open to an explanation, but it leaves a giant plot hole. Like if there was a danger in being in the astral plane too long, like you might not be able to find your way back, or maybe you get eaten by extra-dimensional aliens. I don't know. Hopefully it gets explained. Because theoretically, you could just be in the astral plane 100% of the time and be like almost omnipotent, you know? I don't know. We must find that mutant leader my captive has mentioned. Find him and immediately destroy him. I didn't get here a second too soon. Find some music. Wait, I got it. There we go.
Though I can accomplish no physical acts while in my astral form, I can mentally focus my brain waves and bombard Hank's mind with sharp thought particles that will temporarily deaden his own thoughts. Now, not even the Psycho Probe can get any information out of him anymore.
Trask, why did he stop speaking just when he was about to reveal the X-Men's hideout? I don't know. Everything seems to be working properly. Remember, if I do not gain the information I seek, a city shall perish. But then, the brilliant leader of the X-Men takes a desperate chance.
I've got to probe the mechanical brain of the Master Mold himself, no matter what the cost. Just as I thought, a vast complex of electronic circuitry.
A strange force, I feel it scanning my thinking apparatus. There is something here, a menacing presence. I sense it, I feel it, but I cannot see it. Yet, I am equipped with weapons for any type of attack. And then, with a dazzling, totally inhuman speed, electric blast. Micro-electric blast leaping from his fingers. They're filling the entire chamber. I cannot dodge them. My astral image is composed of electrified thought waves. It can be harmed by the Master Mold's microelectric attack. You know what? I like that explanation because that's exactly what Magneto, I think, uses to get to the astral plane himself. So I like this as an explanation how Magneto and Charles can meet up. Like they're both kind of manipulated magnetic wave forces and brain waves through different means, but to achieve the same result. I like it. I like that. I've got to return to my body before the bolts weaken me too much. If I should be unable to once again rejoin my physical self, then my flesh and blood body would be condemned to remain in a trance forever. Just another few feet. I've got to make it. I've got to. But at that very moment, the searching squad of sentinels finds its prey. Mutants, our sworn enemies, destroy them. Show them no quarter. Attack. Attack. And you know, this whole thing explains too why he doesn't just go trolloping around in his astral form. So that kind of answers my question a little bit. Electric interference could ruin his fucking life. Uh-oh. The Happiness Boys are back. How does anyone as big as them move so fast? We need time to formulate a plan. Quick, Bobby, an ice shield. Boom. This may give us a breather, Sight, but it won't hold them off for long. It doesn't have to. We just need time to get our wits together. Angel, see if you can fly Jean to some place of safety. Not on your life, Scott. I'll see this through with you to the very end. Why is it so quiet back there? What are they cooking up now? And in answer to Iceman's question, use the propulsion power built into your soles of your feet, then strike. Thoosh. Prepare for final destructive action. Bakun. Look out, he crashed through. Zingo, you got him, Sight. Terrific. But there are others following. It's nice been knowing you guys. Then, before the youths could make another move, the advancing section leader activates a button on his chest plate, and then... There shall be no mutants. Can't stay aloft any longer. Wings getting heavy as lead. Falling. Ooh, I feel like the floor is pulling me down. Can't move. They used a heavy gravity ray.
And we're finished?
And as the now helpless X-Men sink slowly to the floor, if we can defeat the X-Men so easily, the rest of mankind, without mutant powers, will be able to offer almost no resistance. Therefore, I now command you to create an army of new Sentinels for me. An army of thousands. No, I won't. It will mean the end of mankind here on Earth. I had wanted to help humanity, to fight the mutants. What a fool I was. What a blind, dangerous fool. Seize him. He shall not refuse us for long. Next issue, you'll actually witness the creation of a Sentinel, as well as one of the most thrilling story endings you've ever gasped at. You'll see the X-Men menace by Trask's unhuman creations on the one hand, and their own inherent weaknesses on the other. Even if you're not a mutant, you mustn't miss it. Enough said. I wonder why. What's with the enough said thing? It seems to be like a new pattern. All right, that was issue 15. So not bad. I mean, there's a few little weird things, like how would Professor Xavier get himself out of a fucking hole, you know, without their help? What else? Some weirdness, like why did the Sentinel not recognize that they were X-Men? Especially when one of them had wings. Like, just, I don't know. Maybe they were too new. Like, they really needed to be told what to do exactly. So that was weird. The Beast's origin, not particularly interesting. It's pretty predictable. Hopefully we'll get more nuance in the future when it comes to his origin. But it was entirely predictable. So, but that could just be by virtue of like how many stories I've read and watched and played, and so I'm looking at it with the lens of a weathered reader of lore. Let's see if there's any cool trivia. Warner Roth helped pencil the issue underneath. Okay, he's still faking his name. It's stated in the issue that the Sentinels do not have any feelings as they are robots, but they apparently feel Professor X's mental blast as they groan in pain. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Well, I did think about how weird it was that they reacted to it. I suppose I didn't think about the idea that they were actually feeling pain. Professor X states that there are things called thought particles, and he bombards Beast with them. Really technical stuff. The origin that Beast explains in this tale contradicts a later story explaining Beast's origin between X-Men Volume 1, between Volume 1, 49 through 52, that accounts Xavier recruiting Beast into the X-Men following Hank's encounter with the evil Conquistador. So, they're gonna retcon that later, just like they do Charles. That's what it sounds like. There's the Conquistador. It's like a lame villain. I wonder if any of these Mark I Sentinels ever make an appearance again. Like, does the section leader appear obscurely in the background or anything? Doesn't look like it. What about Mark I Sentinels in general? So they do make appearances later. Well, a appearance. Sounds like somebody buys one of these Sentinels from somebody who's related to Trask. All three of them. Then they get activated, and then, you know, hijinks ensue. I like the idea of old technology being used, like, later on by, like, groups that are desperate. Kind of like what we saw in that one Spider-Man movie that had the Vulture in it. Like, it made a lot of sense that there was a black market for alien weapons after they all fucking died in New York, you know? Makes too much sense. All right, moving on. We got the conclusion of the Sentinel arc here. I'm assuming. Released November 1965. It's not exactly a monthly publication. Seems like they're about every 2 months, maybe. But still, it's better than where they were. You know, they went from having like 3 to 4 issues a year to getting like, I don't know, maybe like 7 throughout 1965. It was 6. Only gets better. Although I think there reaches a point where there's diminishing returns, because I think there's a point in Marvel where they have like the regular X-Men team going. They got X-Force, they got the Exiles, they got the comic books that run with the Days of Future Past and Age of Apocalypse. They got all sorts of stuff. So I wonder when we get to that point if I'm going to start getting annoyed. We'll see. So November 4th, 1965. I'm going to guess that's going to be the last one of the year. But maybe they'll do one right before the year ends. I'm guessing that's the last one of the year. Same crew as last. Stan Lee, writer-editor. Penciler Jack Kirby. Jay Gavin, the big faker. Inker Dick Ayers. Letterer Arthur Sinek. Green team, I guess. The X-Men, the Supreme Sacrifice. What's Cyclops doing there? Like crawling up his knee? Master Mold's got a dad bod. Am I wrong in saying that? Master Mold has a dad bod? He's got like the dad bod of robots. Alright, I can't forget our pact though. Remember our deal, I get to smoke a bowl after reading an issue. Maybe 2. So it's important that we keep our social contracts, you know? Yeah, Master Molden is kind of goofy looking. But I can't tell if it's better that he has a human-looking face or the yellow weirdness that he normally has. What's Iceman doing there? He looks like he's like coming up with him with a dildo. It's like, let me show you what I use this for, Daddy Mold. Daddy Sentinel. Not sure what Angel's gonna do there. Maybe save Cyclops, because you do see his hand reaching down. So maybe he's gonna dive in after Cyclops, save his life. Once again, I'm probably thinking about it way too hard. All right, let's have some Oreos. A sugar wax. This dispensary I go to has a great deal on concentrates. It's like 8 grams for $100. Can't beat it. Lasts me like well over a month. There we go. Aaron Jones, hello. Welcome. I'm in between issues right now. Perfect time to join in as I smoke a bowl of Oreos. What you up to, Aaron Jones? Hopefully comic book issues, but I'm sure we'll delve into some of mine as well. That's funny. I know. How are you doing? What are you up to today? Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes nothing much is like the best we can hope for. So, if you're gonna hang out for a second, Aaron, just to catch you up, we're on issue 16 here of the Uncanny X-Men, even though it's not yet called that. It gets retroactively renamed. We are in the Sentinel arc. They were just introduced. The creator got kidnapped on live TV. Now the X-Men are going to their hidden base to wrap it up, to deal with it. So that's what's going on here. I can't remember if you've caught one of my former readings before, but basically this is as much of a discussion as a live reading. So, it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to fuck up a lot. I'm going to do weird voices. We're going to stop and look at stuff and gawk, and I'm going to react inappropriately. So that's what we're doing here. And with that being said, the X-Men, the Supreme Sacrifice. X-Men, the most mysterious fighting team of all time. So they're going to keep changing this now. I noticed it went from the most unusual teenagers to the most unusual fighting force. So they're just going to switch it up whenever they feel like it. Also, I wonder what's the deal with, I just wonder else, do you remember Aaron S. Jones? Not specifically. Let me see if I can look at your profile here. What was the last thing you saw me on? What was I doing? Oh, now that I'm checking out your profile, I'm sending you a follow. I would have already followed you before if you came my way. Yeah, do you remember what you saw me doing last? That might help jog my memory. I noticed with these older comic books, they all have this weird, like, old-timey horror font. Like something you'd see, like, in a silent film or something, like the creature from the Black Lagoon. That's what this font always makes me think of. Oh, absolutely. It's okay. We'll catch each other up again. In which a life is... Oh, wait, I didn't even say the thing. I kind of did. The surprise sacrifice... Or surprise, Jesus. I speak good, I swear. Do it. Oh, thank you. I'll look for you after the stream. Yeah, I'm not too active on my social medias. I pretty much just upload my thumbnails on Instagram. Bravo, welcome back. All right, so the supreme sacrifice in which a life is lost, a battle won. He's so goofy looking. I love it. They're just kind of looks like they're tripping. Like, if you're taking hallucinogenic mushrooms, I could see this happening to me. All right, this is happening. Last issue, we saw the amazing Professor Xavier's astral image driven from the Sentinel's fortress by deadly microelectric blasts. Just made it another few seconds and I'd have been unable to take control of my physical form again. My X-Men are prisoners of the gigantic Sentinels within that deadly fortress, while I lie helplessly outside, unable to help them, hardly able to defend myself. Thanks for allowing me. I'm Aaron's, an art magician from the US and a lazy girl LOL who's been turning gamer vibes into colorful creations. Think of me as the Picasso of pixelated worlds. It's nice to meet you again. Well, now I'm definitely going to remember with an introduction like that. I'm a guy from the future. You're an art magician. You know, there's something. There's some kind of kindred spirit there. Oh, okay. I mean, just to let you know, I'm not in the market for art, but I'll be happy to take a look. Again, I'm not terribly active on my social media, so if I don't get back to you, it's nothing personal. It's just not. It's not on the forefront of my brain. But that's cool. What do you have any clients you want to plug? Like people you've done art for that we could, like streamers you're proud of that you've worked with before? Curious. But I cannot fail them now. It was I who organized them, who inspired them to risk their lives for mankind, for the same human race which now hates and fears them, all because of Dr. Trask and his Sentinels. Ah, cool. Trask believed he was doing the right thing. He thought all mutants were menaces. He created the Sentinels to destroy us, thinking we were the enemies of humanity. He had his Sentinels construct that impregnable fortress. He armed them with deadly new weapons, for the purpose of wiping all mutants from the face of the earth. Thank you, Professor Exposition. Oh, you can check my Insta too. Some of the streamer gave me a shout out on there. All right, okay, cool. It's always good to see your clients make it. I'm afraid my filter won't allow it, but if you followed me on Instagram, I can find you, so. I'm not, like, terribly popular, so it won't be too hard to find you. He was too blind, too fanatical to realize that there are both good and bad mutants, to realize that his Sentinels are the real threat to... Wait, the fortress is sinking like a gigantic elevator. It's completely hidden again, camouflaged by a deceptive mound of earth. Now, my X-Men are completely cut off from any aid I might give them. Yeah, he is kind of fucked. This means that the most dangerous Sentinel of all, the gargantuan Master Mold, can continue to create more Sentinels until they take over, run all of Earth. Unless I can stop him, and I will, if it costs me my very life. Back in the city, there is a fallen Sentinel. If I can find out why he fell, I'll have the key to their defeat. Would have been great if you figured that out before you got there, but I guess they were trying to rescue a guy aspiring to be mutant Hitler. Desperately, painfully, disregarding the agony of his injured body, the crippled mutant tirelessly crawls inch after inch until he reaches the highway at last. Oh my god, are they gonna stop? I'm gonna feel so bad for him if they stop. Imagine not stopping for a guy who can't use his legs. So you'll know he's in America, maybe. The highway at last. Now to stop the first passing car. Oh yeah, he's telepathic, never mind. He can do whatever he wants to people. A basic telepathic command will be the trick no normal human can resist. Slow down, 100 yards ahead. What if he doesn't know what yards are? What if he uses the feet system? Seconds later. Sure is lucky we saw you, fella. What happened? No time to explain now. You must drive me to the city. Sure, we'll be glad to. There's something about him. It seems to force us to obey. Kinda strange the way we slowed down in time. Almost like he knew he'd be there. We knew he'd be there. Meanwhile, back within the now hidden fortress, we find... Now what have they done to us? It's hard to move in here, like my muscles are made of lead. I'm assuming that's Beast down? No, it's Jean. You're right. Something is pressing us down, sapping our strength. I can't even fly to the top. My wings can hardly flap in here. There's only one answer. They've found a way to increase the weight of gravity within the globe, and there's no way for us to fight it. It's gonna make bathroom time awkward. But the big question is, where are they taking us? Where are they taking us to now, and why? Oh yeah, I gotta turn my soup thing back on. Second. I know that broth ain't done cooking. Hopefully I can get it done in time for dinner. Alright, let's find some other inspiring music. Well, that's Dragon Ball music. There we go. Finally, place the heavy grav globe upon its permanent base. It is done. They shall be safe here until the Master Mold gives us orders for their final disposal. No matter how they struggle, there is no way to overcome the irresistible power of increased gravity. This is why we are destined to rule mankind. Our computerized brains can create weapons which no mere human can match. But inside the seemingly escape-proof prison, the mere humans within are determined that if they must be defeated, they'll go down fighting. My power blast can shatter almost anything.
Why won't they smash that glass? Thung.
For long, anguished minutes, the dedicated deputy leader unleashes his awesome power until at last, it's no use, I failed. The wall isn't glass, but some new impregnable substance. Yet, perhaps the others, by use of their mutant power, may do better. Easy, Gene. Even if you can levitate yourself, there's no place to go. The top of this double-sized milk bottle is all sealed up. I know, Bobby, but I've got to keep trying. We can't just sit idly by and wait for the end. We must... Oh! Uh-oh, I was afraid that would happen. The professor always warned you about overtaxing your telekinetic power. Those boots are so dumb, I'm gonna say it every time. I hate them. Why? Why bother? Is it to feel like part of the team? Couldn't you wear like a wristwatch or something? LOL, you seen their art is the basic fake artist thing. Oh, well, I don't know that yet, so... But... Well, I'll keep an open mind. But yeah, I mean, I don't buy art. I'd rather ineptly make it myself, you know? Just the kind of guy I am. But if we don't freak out, we're all doomed. And if I can help it, I'm gonna build my own kind of icy battering ram. It's always the dick shapes with you, isn't it? I always felt superior to the others because I could fly. Oh wait, no, that's fucking Warren. I always felt superior to the others because I could fly, but now I realize how useless my wings can be at times. Good idea, Bobby. It's the one thing that may do it. There. More ice to add to the bar, the more pressure it exerts against the walls. Keep it up, partner. The Sentinels are so confident that we're trapped, they're not even paying attention. Don't stop now. Yeah, these Gen 1 Sentinels are dumb as fuck, man. And I'm glad I made them sound stupid. They deserve it. Each chunk of ice I add makes me that much weaker, but I gotta keep doing it. It's all up to me. This is my chance to prove that I may be the youngest X-Man, but I can still pull my weight on the team. Why is it beeping now? Hear my suit beep. Yet, try as he may. Crack! It didn't work. The ice bar shattered instead of the wall. Alright, let's go. Let me give my suit a quick look. Man, Crockpot is acting up today. Hopefully my broth cooked enough to be soup. Otherwise I'm gonna be sad. Maybe I'll just get delivery instead. I like making my own food though, personally. I don't know about you guys, but I just like making my own stuff. Whether it be art, food, plants, you name it. I failed you. It was all up to me and I conked out. Don't ever say that again, boy. You did all that any man could do. You tried your best. You called me a man for the first time. You're as much a man as any of us, Bobby. never forget it.
Oh, you silly Billy. No one's ever called me a man before.
Now listen, all of you. We can't shatter that wall, and we'll just drain our strength by trying. So we'll make no more attempts. Our best bet is to take it easy, conserve our power, and wait for the first opening. They've got to open this thing in order to get at us, and that's when we'll strike. At that moment, in another chamber of the vast fortress, the awesome Master Mold concludes his examination of the unconscious beast. I need learn no more about him. I realize now that the X-Men do not possess the power to harm us. Fine. What do you plan to do with him?
He shall be imprisoned with the other captive mutants as the Master Mold has commanded.
Then, at my pleasure, they will all be destroyed. For that is the purpose you yourself have programmed into our computerized brains. No, I was wrong. I realize that now. They aren't menaces to mankind. It's you who are. They mustn't be harmed. Silence! Though you created us, you are merely human. You too must obey. While I have the power, it is you who have the knowledge to create a vast army of sentinels for me, and you shall do so. No, it would mean betraying my fellow men. You and your sentinels would enslave all of Earth. You have no choice. Have you forgotten my power? If so, behold this simple demonstration. Your disintegrator beam! Don't do it! Don't! Do not fear, you shall not be harmed, as yet. If the nearest city that will be it is the nearest city that will be wiped out, as easily as I erase yonder machine. And I did it! I gave you that ray! Not allow an entire city to suffer such a fate. I'll create your army of sentinels. After all, where there's life, there's hope. We may still find a way to destroy the Master Mold. For, with him gone, the sentinels would be leaderless. The threat would be ended. If only the X-Men were still free. If only the X-Men were still free. If only I'd listened to them. Meanwhile, back at the TV studio, where the first Sentinel had collapsed for no apparent reason. I don't get it. Trask built these bozos to fight the X-Men. But then they captured Trask himself. Trask was a fool. No man has the right to take the law into his own hands. If only we knew where they took him, and how many other Sentinels there are. They may strike again at any time. Perhaps I can help you, Inspector. Professor Xavier, you're the one who was debating with Trask on TV. You claimed that mutants were not dangerous to mankind. Come on in, mister. We'll take any help we can get. Thanks for that exposition, Chief Expo. What do you know about this Sentinel here, or how dangerous is he? More dangerous than you can imagine, unless we can learn the reason that he collapsed. You're not gonna learn anything by just sitting and staring at him, are you? He cannot suspect that I'm actually probing deep within the figure before me, by means of sheer mental energy. He's built like a gigantic TV set. He will not receive a picture properly if there is interference. Something has interfered with him.
I could only learn what that something is.
I'm assuming because they're in a broadcast center, that's what's going on. Broadcast waves are interfering.
Look, mister, I was willing to give you a chance, but if you're just gonna catch up on your daydreaming, go do it else, huh? I sense something at last from outside the window. If I can just mentally pinpoint it, we'll have the answer. Do not speak, Inspector. Give me just 1 minute more. What are you pointing at that new crystal products building for? What's that got to do with anything? The giant crystal which adorns the tower, that's it. When the sentinel stood before the window, his transmission beam was broken by the crystal's interference.
That seems like a pretty broad judgment to make, but I guess he's using psychic powers to sense crap. I don't know, whatever. I'll roll with it.
Then if we moved him again, he'd come to life once he was away from the window? Exactly, but it would be too dangerous to try. I have a better idea. We must destroy the source of his transmission beams, and at last I know how to do it.
But we know how anxious you are to rejoin the X-Men once again, and so...
Place the helpless one with the other prisoners until the Master Mold orders their disposal. I obey, Section Leader. Open the globe. I have another prisoner to be deposited within. Look, it's the Beast. They're gonna put him in here with us. That means they'll have to open the globe.
This is what we've been waiting for. Remember our battle plan.
We are in the proper defensive posture. Then let the globe be opened. They're taking no chances. Their ringed are all around us. Their lethal chest rays are all aimed right at us.
No matter what, we must carry out our plan. The gravity is getting lighter, or normal. Get ready.
An opening is beginning to form. If we fail, nothing will matter. We've got to be doubly careful not to injure the Beast.
Personal note, for those of you who might want to make your own heavy gravity globe, we'll just tip you off that the opening is formed by repelling the atomic particles within the global structure. There. Now the rest will be easy. What the fuck was the point of that? Like, fuck you, you're not smart enough?
Say the word, Psych. We're all set. If we wait too long, we'll miss our chance. They're starting to lift Hank off that stretcher.
Just another 2 seconds till they're right in position. Now! Moving with blinding speed, Cyclops blasts his power beam at the Sentinel carrying Hank McCoy. Zap! It worked. He dropped the Beast. Let's go. Racing to prevent the X-Men's escape, the other Sentinels trip and fall over their stricken comrade. The timing was perfect. They're getting all tangled up. I'll leap out first to make them direct their chest rays at me. It'll give Jean and the others a better chance. Ooh, lucky for me, they're so slow moving. But what's keeping the others? Moon.
Warren, they're trying to close the opening again. It's only big enough to slip through one at a time. Hank and Bobby will never make it.
Don't worry, Jean. We're not deserting them. You'll see. Oh, no, you don't. You're not stealing my parts and that globe again. Stop him. But how can you stop the unstoppable? Shriek. There. That's one control panel you can kiss goodbye.
Ooh. Just what I hoped you'd do. By swinging at me and missing, you shattered the whole wall full of weapons. Why does that matter? None of them, use guns. Or is that the braid that shoots outside? Whatever. That sentinel coming towards me. I can't evade him. If I can just use my telekinetic powers against him to force him back. There, I slowed him down. Now, just a little more. His body is too heavy for me, but by concentrating on his arms, I can force them back further. Further, they're making him topple. Hey, Genie. Hey, Genie needs some help. Let's move. Too late. I downed him myself. You sure did, honey, but we'll make sure he stays down. I'm way ahead of you, Fly Guy. Oh. I guess we said, make it too slippery for him to stand, Bobby. But I got ahead of myself. That's gonna happen from time to time. I've got Hank. Now let's go. Every second counts. We've got to destroy the Master Mold. To be able to soar again. But, directly behind the speeding mutants, a new detachment of sentinels appear. Grim, emotionless, powerful. They must not escape. Prepare stun rays. Aim stun rays. And now, at my command, fire stun rays. Through. Yeah, I'll get blasted. They are beaten, and it shall be for the last time. Too long they had defied us, fought us now. They must be slain. Prepare destruction beams. But no sooner are those fateful words uttered than the entire body of sentinels suddenly sags to the floor and lies still. And at that moment, lying high overhead, we see... If Xavier's theory is correct, this giant crystal, which we took from the tower of the building, will cause all the sentinels in the fortress below to collapse and be rendered harmless. But how do we know we're not just wasting our time? All I see below is a patch of empty countryside. You may rest assured, gentlemen, the fortress is hidden beneath the site below. Continue to maintain your present flying speed. It is vital that we make a steady, complete sweep of the area to blank out every sentinel below. We all thought that this guy was off his rocker till we got word from Washington itself to do whatever he said. I wonder what makes him such a VIP. Me? I never heard of him. But the police pilot's puzzled musings are suddenly rudely interrupted by the unexpected sight which suddenly greets his eyes below. Zzz. Look, there is some kind of fortress down there. It's popping out of nowhere. And there's a weapon of some sort being trained on us. It's creating a deadly turbulence in the air. If we hit it, we'll crash. Then we've got to go back. Then we've got to go back. No, continue to fly. There will be no danger. On Professor Xavier say-so, the courageous officers fly directly towards the awesome whirlwinds. But as they do, so the enormous crystal does its work well.
As the gleaming object passes above, those operating the weapon crumble helplessly, causing the turbulence to fade away. Thus, when the X-Men regain consciousness, once again they find... Look, the Sentinels, they've been knocked out. I'm not complaining, but how did it happen? One minute we're racing to the Master Mold, and then this. From the evidence at hand, I would deduce that Professor X has finally found their Achilles heel. Hank, you've come to again. How wonderful. Ah, how gratifying to know I've been missed. Let's knock off the talk till later. We've still got a job to do. You're right, Psyche. So long as that Master Mold exists, the Sentinels will never be defeated, so let's get 'em. Lead on, McDuff. We're right behind you. They won't stop us now. Warren, be careful. He must have all sorts of defensive devices to prepare just for such an attack. James right, Angel. Slow down. We don't know what's ahead of us. Then, as if to add emphasis to the X-Men's words, the light suddenly flickers out, plunging the entire area into darkness. Can't see where I'm flying. Gonna crash into... Oh! Who is that? I'm gonna guess that's Marvel Girl. Nope, that's Cyclops because of his glasses. You can kind of see the outline of his visor. Listen to that hum. Like a tremendous surge of power. Something is draining all the current below, all the fuses. What is it? What can it be? I know those booties from anywhere. It's some sort of incredible, powerful machine. I can feel its tremendous energy with my feet, right through the floor. And the bookwormish beast is right. For just a short distance away, we see... I have given you all the power you will require. Now let the process begin. This night shall mark the end of man's domination over the planet Earth. Create my sentinels. I shall observe your every move. Heaven help me, I don't want to do it, but I must, otherwise a city will be destroyed. I suppose that's something redeemable about Trask. While he's an asshole, a bigoted asshole, he does believe the things that he's doing. Like, he does believe that he is protecting mankind. And I suppose this sort of proves it, but it also gives him a reason to just go through with the plan anyways. So I don't... It's like, it kind of reminds me of Charles' stepdad. Like, he's barely redeemable. Never a good person, but somewhat redeemable if they try hard enough. First, there shall be 8 new sentinels, then 8 more, then 8 more, each group appearing faster and faster until their number mounts so quickly that they become virtually uncountable. Begin. Guessing he's not, like, much of an accountant. It's starting to work. The synthoparticles from the master mold are flowing into the cubicles, solidifying into solid matter. Yeah, so that was something I always wondered. Why does it matter that master mold is there at all? I don't exactly understand. Maybe he created a process where Master Mold creates the particles, it works with the machine, and then makes a Sentinel baby. Oh boy, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna grab a beer. I'll be back. Yeah, so my soup is fucked. Looks like all the broth got evaporated for some reason. I have no idea why. Crock-Pot's supposed to keep it all in there. I don't know what happened. So it was basically just cooking vegetables. I don't know. I guess I could fill it up with more water, but by the time I'm done with my stream, it won't be in time. I don't know why I got so fucked. It's disappointing, to say the least. You know what? I got nothing to lose by trying. I'm gonna go fill up my pot with water. Alright, we may salvage this soup yet. Alright, on to better things. Once the process has started, there'll be no stopping it. If enough energy is built up in the machine, it could run forever. They'll eventually outnumber the human race. They'll enslave all of mankind. They'll be the masters of Earth. And all because of me. In my ignorance, my fear, I created an evil far greater than the menace I was built to destroy. So, but I'm curious what happens in the future that makes him completely change his mind on this, or if he's just like forever forced into making Sentinels after this. Because I feel like they never stop becoming a problem, ever. Also, I was thinking about the whole bullshit with the particles coming from Master Mold. I do remember there being some story where there was like a rogue sentinel in like South America or something like that. And it was essentially just mowing down all the natural resources around it to create new sentinels. So I think that was supposed to be somewhat of an explanation how it's just basically transforming matter into machines, somehow. The Emperor returned, somehow. You know how it goes. I just wish I made them cooler looking. The first units are taking shape now. Then they'll leave their cubicles, and then the next batch will be formed, and all will be obedient to the heartless Master Mold. So long as men endure upon the planet, mine will be the most hated name of all, for it was I who betrayed the human race. No, I won't do it, I can't. I meant to help mankind to protect it from the mutants. I can't destroy it now. Stop. You cannot defy me. Have you forgotten the penalty? He should have, come to this conclusion before he started the machine. We'll see what happens. No, I just remembered. Remembered that my own life means nothing. I'll sacrifice it gladly to undo the dread thing I've done. Ionic power source, if you shatter that, you destroy everything. Even I cannot survive.
plane. It was I who created you. It must be by my hand that destroys you, along with every other vestige of my work, along with my own life. Oh, fool. We're too late. A master mold will never menace humanity again. Someone's done our job for us. Dr. Trask, wasn't he in there? If he was, he's beyond any help now. Heads up, group. We better vacate these premises before we're indompted by... Bobby, what's wrong? The heat? I didn't realize would weaken me so. Blacking out. Can't stand. It's imperative that I carry him out, but he's too slippery to hold in my hands. However, there's more than one way to skin a cat or transport an Iceman. Oh my god. Surely that could have not have been as easier than just scooping him up. Anything to show off. This version of Beast, he's a lot more rambunctious than I would have given him credit for. I guess, you know, we're seeing him in his early adult years, you know? Still got a little bit of an edge and immaturity to him. I'm curious when he goes like full scientist. Let's see. Just trying to get rid of this turd burglar. There we go. Oops. All of you, let's go. The place is collapsing. Who? You didn't have to resort to such drastic devices to prove your point, Scotty. But then, everything seems to happen at once. Each explosion causes a bigger explosion. Each fire starts a bigger fire. As the desperate X-Men suddenly realize they're surrounded by impending doom. We're trapped. The entire fortress is caving in. If the flames don't get us, the cave-in will. Genie, stop. There's a wall of fire directly ahead of you. Running in panic won't help. We've got to work as a team. Cyclops is right. Angel, can you fly over the flames while I use telekinesis to levitate Scott over them? No! Then you'll be trapped. I'll wait here and carry you over as soon as Psych is clear. Angel's right. It's the only way. Hurry, Jean. We've got to rejoin Hank and Bobby. That's it, but be careful. Don't strain yourself. Even with his own life at stake, he worries about me. Is it any wonder I feel about him as I do? You had to work in how horny you are for him. He's safe. We did it. Oh wait, no, that was Warren. He's safe. We did it. Angel, careful. The flames are too high. If you flap your wings, they'll catch on fire. Don't move. I'll help you glide over telekinetically there. We're doing it. Thanks, gal. That was mighty close, but now that we're here, where are we? We're no safer, no better off, but at least we're together. Jean, see if you can probe the wall for any hidden escape lock devices. I'll try, Scott. There's something here. I can feel the tumblers. I've never used my kinetic power through a wall before, but if it can be done... Wait. I hear them moving. I'm getting it. That's it. It's open. We can make our way out now. While outside the now flaming fortress, we find... Professor, say what gives with that guy. He hasn't said a word to anyone for the past 5 minutes. Relax, Charlie. A guy who could figure out a way to stop those sentinels just by flying over them with a nutty sparkler, he can be as quiet as he wants to.
But not a man among them can suspect the true reason the silence of Charles Xavier, as the most powerful mutant brain on Earth desperately probes among the carnage, seeking to contact the X-Men below. With all the explosions, all the confusion, I couldn't reach them. But now I've located them at last. I'll stay with them mentally to guide them. Don't bother Xavier, boys. If he wants to sit there, sightseeing, that's his business. But look, someone's coming out of one of those openings. Where? I don't see anything. Well, that's funny. Now I don't either. Naturally, for I have erased the image from both of their minds. No need to let them know that my X-Men were involved. Wait, what about Jean? He can't carry us both. Don't worry about me. I'll levitate myself down. Has it ever occurred to you what a splendid fireman we'd make? Yeah, Bobby made that joke earlier, dipshit. We'd be the pride of the Hook and Ladder Brigade. Not you, Gabby. They'd never find boots big enough for those tugboat tootsies of yours. That Mr. Worthington was the unkindest cut of all. Oh, the entire cliff is beginning to quiver. It's fortunate that Bobby thawed out a bit. Now I can carry him securely in one hand. It's much better for my bestial image this way. Hank, look out! The cliff wall is buckling. Hold on. I'd be delighted to oblige, Scotty, except for one thing. There seems to be precious little to hold on to at the moment. If any of you stalwarts would care to come to our assistance, there would be no need for reticence. There's no need for reticence. I'm not confident that I said that right. Problems for later. In other words, help! Hang on, Hank. Now that Scott's safe, I can relieve you of Iceman. Now get moving, partner. You haven't much time. I'm painfully aware of that nerve-wracking fact, my friend. And then, without the added burden of his young partner in his arms, Hank McCoy demonstrates the unbelievable agility and balance which have earned him the name of the Beast. After all those grueling sessions in the professor's danger room, this is almost child's play now. So long as there's a foothold or a toehold anywhere, my chances for survival become virtually incalculable. Salutations from your bestial buddy, comrades in arms. I trust I didn't delay you too long. Flap, thunk, plump. Who's that speaking? I'm gonna pretend that's Jean. Wow, are you kidding, Hank? The angel himself just landed, a second ago. Beast, all of you, don't stop, get away from the cliff. Boy, the professor's mental warning didn't come a second too soon. That's the end of the Sentinels and the Master Mold. Mankind can breathe easy once more. I wonder if we'll ever know what caused the explosions which saved humanity. Perhaps the truth will one day be known, but until that time it lies buried beneath countless tons of rubble, buried in the breast of Dr. Bolivar Trask, whose last earthly sacrifice brought the work of a lifetime crashing down about him, whose last earthly lesson proved to be, beware the fanatic. Too often his cure is deadlier by far than the evil he denounces. That is an important lesson to learn, I think. The end. But no victory is ever truly complete.
Even now, as the weary X-Men prepare to return to their headquarters building, none can suspect the shadow of menace that awaits them. The most unexpected menace of all, as we shall see next issue. Enough said? Oh. I think that was a good little arc, and I like that it kind of ended on a clear message, like, don't be a fucking fanatic. Don't be so goddamn extreme. Stay open-minded. I think you'll find that the people that we view as our enemies are not nearly as evil as we'd like them to be. You know, because when your enemy is clear, when you can write them off, you know, it makes what you have to do easier. But when you start really looking at people, you know, what they do, how they got there, what they want, I don't know. To me, it's always removed more barriers than created. I'd like to think that we're all more alike than not. So that's why I think fanaticism really doesn't have a place in a well-functioning society, personally. Whether that means like extreme loyalty to country, or a race, or a group of people, or a religion, whatever. Like, fanaticism will buy you nothing but extremism. That's it. So what we got for trivia? Nothing. Basically nothing. Let's read about Master Mold. I want to see if they explain any more about how he works, how he functions. Because I feel like most of the time that's all he's doing. He's just making sentinels. But how? It's not going to tell me, is it? Master Mold has the inherent capability to fabricate and churn out whole new sentinels from within its own being, or through an external manufacturing apparatus. Nano sentinels, Master Mold can utilize their sensational fabrication functionality to create conversion nanoviruses which steadily transform organic tissue into machinery. So this is kind of what I was talking about before when he had his secret base and like the jungle of some country. He was converting organic matter into inorganic compounds, essentially. They can just as simply refit their own technology for the purpose of baser technological supplementation of living flesh, effectively turning live human beings into prototype Omega Sentinels. Oh, that's kind of a neat idea. You wouldn't want to go too far with it because they're supposed to exist far into the future and all that. But I wouldn't mind seeing like prototype versions, like messed up. Like, we weren't supposed to shove a whole living human into one, but we did it, and here it is. Like, I can appreciate that. All right, so really there's actually not much on him outside of like his biography and what happens to him. I always kind of suspected like there was maybe some kind of deeper reason why the Sentinels like went off the fucking rails immediately. Like maybe he based it off celestial technology or something, you know, because you can't tell me that Master Mold doesn't invoke like Galactus or some other celestial. But no, it's just Trask made his own robot, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, there must be a lot to this guy, going from being an anthropologist to fabricating AI and robots, like...
Oh, so we do get some retcon about Bolivar and why he was extreme as he did. Apparently his son was a mutant and foresaw things about mutants taking over the world or whatever. I can see how that might mobilize you a little. Okay, so he is dead. He had his change of heart, and now he's dead forever. But it was what I suspected. It's like his family members down the line that get captured or take over or continue his bigoted ideology. I think we can work one more in. Oh, you know what? I was wrong. I thought the last one would be the last one for the year, but they worked in one more. So December 2nd, 1965. That cover goes hard. I like the red and black, as you can tell. Same crew, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Jay Gavin, Dick Ayers, Artie Simek. It's gonna do it. Been dicking around with soup too much today, so I'm gonna try to... But first, I'm gonna stick to the bowl while we examine the cover. This cover's pretty cool. I really like this whole red. It kind of reminds me of Sin City a little bit. It's got a little noir to it. It's kind of pulpy. Now, I can't even guess who the villain is in this. We see his shadow, we see his hand, which looks like it's probably gloved, maybe? Although this could be a band, like a metal band, with a glove underneath it. Can't really tell much from... Looks like he might have hair, looks like long locks of flowing hair. Could just be a shadow from Xavier, though. Hard to tell. Yeah, I couldn't even take a guess who the villain is, or if it even is a villain. Let's do some blue sushi. Blue sushi. Kind of smells like a urinal. It's got like a urinal aroma to it. Smoke's great, but not all marijuana smells amazing. But I usually find the ones with strong odors to be like, even if it's an odor you don't appreciate. Yeah, urinal cake is not my favorite odor, but I expect great things from it. X-Men, and none shall survive. You must not reveal the incredible ending to any living soul. Remember, we'll be watching you. Yeah, so don't go to fucking school and ruin the ending so no one buys the comic. That's what they're saying. Quit fucking sharing the ending and the whole thing. You would motivate your friends to buy this shit. Do it. That's what that's saying. Yeah, if the cover didn't have all this shit on it, I think this would make for a good poster. Like a movie poster, you know? I don't even think Marvel.com is the right website to buy comics. Why did they add that? How are they not gonna fix their spelling errors but add stuff like that? To what end? www dot. I think www stands for Wide Wiccans Willingly. Yeah, what's this other one we have? I think it's Gary Larry. It is. Ooh, Gary Larry is another stinky boy. Good stuff, though. It's good stuff. Less of a urinal cake, more of like a lemon that went bad or something, you know? Like, you ever leave a lemon in the fridge too long? Kind of smells like that. Here, let's find a different ambient soundscape. Oh my God, that is amazing. Ugh. Mm. I'll slap on some Halo. Can't go wrong with Halo music. Alright. X-Men, the most unusual fighting team of all time. And none shall survive. The fat's in the fire now. There's no way for Professor X to keep our battle out of the headlines after all this. Your pulse is impassable, son. Though the youthful X-Men managed to defeat the deadly Sentinels last issue, they did not escape unscathed. Within moments, a first aid team of the National Guard medics reaches the scene. My troops will take command, Inspector. It's a military matter now. Okay with me, General. Have a chair, Kildare. Each and every toe is virtually priceless. I wonder how much longer the professor can keep his connection with us a secret. We'd better see about getting you home safely, Professor. Don't worry about me, officer. My car is parked not far from here. Perhaps one of the X-Men will be good enough to drive me back to my school. Well, that's not gonna help matters. As far as like keeping his connection a secret. Comb the area. Report anything that moves. Let's go. On behalf of the Armed Services, Professor, I want to thank you for your aid. It was most courageous of you to offer and come here to advise us. I was glad to be able to help, General. He's thinking of me as a civilian advisor. After all, there's no reason for anyone to suspect that I'm the leader of the X-Men. There'll be some mighty red faces from now on, Professor. All those who call the X-Men menaces to society will have a lot of apologizing to do. In fact, I myself used to fear their power until I saw how they risked their lives to help us all. Don't you agree, Professor? Indeed I do, General. That's why I decided to release my mental hold over your mind, so the X-Men would get due credit. Captain, order your men to search the ruins of the Sentinel's fortress. Be quick about it. We move out before sundown. What supreme irony! The Sentinels had been created to destroy the X-Men, and yet it was necessary for us to smash them in order to save humanity. The humanity that hated us. I mean, when it comes down to it, you didn't really do anything but help them escape. Like, no one wants to give that turd credit, but Trask was the one that did it. So, we'll say. Would they have gotten to it? Probably. Maybe. They were kind of getting their asses kicked multiple times, so I don't know. Give it a good maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure if they would have been able to take Master Mold in a straight fight now that I think about it. Might have been too soon for that, I think if they did, it would have been a horde battle. Are you injured, Professor? We're taking some of the X-Men to the hospital for treatment. If you require any care, we can... No, I'm perfectly fine, thank you. I was in the police helicopter, safely removed from any of the actual fighting. I suspected that Iceman, the Beast, and Cyclops were injured. Perhaps one of the other X-Men will drive me to my school. I would enjoy getting to know them better. The Angel and I will be glad to do it, Professor. Attention Beast, exercise extreme caution. Do not remove your mask. Iceman, remain in icy form. Your true identities must not be exposed. How are they supposed to treat Iceman if he's solid ice? What does that do? How'd they get an IV drip in it? Whatever. Man, if he ever got an ingrown toenail, it would be Ainsville. Cyclops, you will be responsible until I reach the hospital. Seconds later, Cyclops, the Beast, and Iceman are speedily transported to the nearest hospital, as the Angel and Marble Girl accompany Professor Xavier to his waiting sedan. Trying to figure out who's talking. One of these has to be Warren. The other one has to be Cyclops. I'm gonna guess the second one is Angel. The professor had to let us go to the hospital, no matter how risky it is. If he protested, it would have aroused too many suspicions. I'm not hurt badly, except for some bruises, but I hope Hank and Bobby are okay. And so, the X-Men leave the scene of one of their most fantastic battles, the site where the Sentinels were born, and where they, along with their tragic creator, perished as the result of a mad dream gone wrong. Something tells me they recover some stuff and fuck up the world again. Alright, it's time to put more chemicals in my body. Now we break out the big Red Bull. Feel myself fading. Might be all the marijuana, or no. A short time later, in a hushed hospital room, his injury was more serious than I thought. He blacked out in the ambulance and they couldn't bring him back to consciousness. Oh, it was good of you to stop by and see the X-Men, Professor, but I'm afraid Iceman's condition must be listed as critical. Due to the mutant nature of his body, it is impossible to make an accurate diagnosis of his injuries. So alien is he to the normal medical knowledge that we can do nothing but keep him under observation and hope for the best. I understand, Doctor. None of the usual medications to be given to one whose physical makeup defies anything science has ever encountered before. Even I, with my mutant brain, cannot help Bobby now. He's in the hands of a power greater than any human. He's starting to move, trying to speak. Does Xavier believe in God? I mean, I guess it would make sense to believe in a God in Marvel, because, like, gods are real in comic books. Like, Thor is a god that everybody sees walking around all the time, you know? There's demons. So, alright, I relent. Maybe one of his gods he prays to is what he's referencing. Oh, I'm curious if we've ever seen, like, Jesus in comic book form. Like, is there any Marvel character that's like, oh, he might have been Jesus, you know? The only one I can think of is, Exodius, I think is his name. Something like that. Whatever. Doesn't matter. He's starting to speak, trying to move. Look out! I'll tackle the Sentinel. I'll stop him. Somehow. I know I'm the youngest, but I'll show them. I'll prove I'm every inch the X-Men. I won't fail them. I won't. I'll make them proud of me. They need me. I will let them down. It is delirious. No way of knowing whether this is a good symptom or a dangerous one. You'd better leave now, Professor. All these months, these many missions, I protected my X-Men. I pray that Bobby Drake won't mark the first time I faced with failure. I wonder if they wanted this guy to be Reed Richards. I know not every guy that has white hair on the side of his head is Doctor Strange or Reed Richards, but I can't help but think that they wanted it to be Reed Richards. With heavy heart, Charles Xavier next visits Hank McCoy. Hello, Professor. Is there any change in the Iceman's condition yet? Remember, Hank, do not under any circumstance remove your mask. And another word of caution, act as though I am merely a casual friend. No one must suspect I am actually your leader. No, Beast. He is still on the critical list. The poor lad is delirious. The Beast Foxers are healing remarkably well, but it's a pity he won't permit us to remove his mask. As a scientist, there is so much more I want to learn about his psychological makeup. Is this Reed Richards? Because he's what, both a doctor and a scientist? Who else could it be? You're gonna have to change the voice, because I don't know why it sounds like he's got jowls or something.
Unfortunately, we have no legal right to insist that he unmask. If only we knew who the X-Men's parents are, we might learn so much about human mutation. Their parents, the one weak link in our chain of security. Any deadly enemy of ours ever captured one of my X-Men's parents, what a hold he would have over us. How tragic that science must be denied our full cooperation because of the evil that so lurks in the world.
But at that very moment nearby, what on earth is going on up there? Would you mind letting a fella having a little quiet, please?
The Angel is calling the automatic phone answering device at X-Men headquarters to learn if there were any messages while they were away.
Thanks, nurse.
He lifted the phone into the air so we couldn't see what number he dialed. So you'll have to get down, young man. That's against hospital regulations.
Hello? What? Holy smoke, that's the last thing I expected. I've got to notify the professor fast.
I'm already here, Warren. I detected your mental agitation. What's wrong? Merely think it to me.
It's my parents. They called the school, left word they're coming to visit. They're worried because they haven't heard from me.
The phone, quickly. Perhaps I can stop them before they leave.
May I have the phone, young man? Sure, Professor. There you are. If they reach the school and find it deserted, what will they think? How can we explain?
They mustn't reach it first. I've had a feeling of the danger from there all day.
Then, after quickly dialing the Angel's home number,
Mrs. Warrington, this is Professor Xavier. I've had my students with me on a field trip to gather material for a research paper. That is why your call was answered by an automatic device.
Oh, at any rate, we're planning a short motor trip and thought we'd stop off and see Warren while in your neighborhood, but it's exam time now. Oh, we'll only stay a few minutes, Professor. See you later. Bye-bye now.
Well, that's a relief.
Well, that's a relief, Professor. My husband and I were quite worried.
I couldn't dissuade her, but I can't help feeling uneasy about their visit.
Why, sir? Is anything wrong?
Yes, with Iceman critically ill and the Beast recovering from a fracture. Plus, this sense of menace I cannot shake. I think you better fly to the school now, Angel, and do a little scouting around.
I'm on my way, sir.
If only Mom and Dad hadn't decided to visit the school now. The professor is never wrong when he senses danger. The professor is never wrong when he senses danger, and I can't let them get involved in it. I sure hate to leave Bobby while he's so ill, but I guess the professor will stay with him. Gosh, it feels great to be in flight again.
Then, for the next few minutes, as he wings his way toward Westchester, the high-flying Angel soars and glides like a falcon in flight. No other human, no one who has ever possessed wings, can possibly imagine how wonderful it is to actually fly. And so the high-spirited youth streaks over the city, they little dreaming of the strange and startling menace that awaits him when he reaches his destination. Somehow, when I'm high in the sky this way, I feel there is no danger I cannot face. No problem I cannot solve, no enemy I cannot defeat. Everything seems clean and pure and bright, the way it ought to be. The way it must be one day if man is ever to fulfill his promise, his glorious destiny. What the fuck does that mean? But even as the astounding angel plummets earthward towards his goal, the front door of Professor Xavier's school slowly begins to open.
One of them approaches now. Don't to attack them all at once to demonstrate my overwhelming power. But perhaps it will be even more satisfying to defeat them one at a time. I will then be able to savor each individual victory to watch each accursed X-Men fall helplessly before me. The first one comes, I shall close the door again and wait.
I wonder what the professor meant by sensing danger. The school has never looked quieter or more peaceful. There is nothing out of the ordinary on the outside of the building. Not a sign of life anywhere. So I'd better poke around inside. It's not like the professor to send anyone on a wild goose chase. Well, that's strange. The door is always locked automatically behind us when we leave, but it's open now. And then, like a senseless sequence from a mad, fantastic nightmare, a heavy, lethal battle axe suddenly disengages itself from the steel hand that held it and hurtles through the corridor right towards the angel. Clang. But long, hard months of ceaseless training prove their worth as the angel's amazing aerial agility succeeds in saving his life.
Welcome home, you ringed blunderer. You shall never leave here again, under your own power.
There is someone, but who would dare? Just stay where you are, mister. I'll make you eat those words. His voice came from down the corridor. But there's no place to hide from here to the end of the hall. He won't escape me. No matter how fast he is, how strong he is, I'll get to him. I've got to be swift and sure. But then, zooming down the hallway like a human missile, the winged mutant realizes he's speeding into a trap. Too late to stop himself. Alright, it's too Halo-y. Maybe I'll let it ride for a minute. There's something in front of me. It suddenly dropped into place. I'm going to hit it. Oof. Thud.
Easy it was to clip the angel's wings, but he is only the first. Only the first.
Meanwhile, Professor Charles Xavier picks that exact moment to check upon the condition of the X-Men's deputy leader. No, Doc, I'm sorry, I can't let you examine my eyes. I must insist on its hospital routine. Now don't be difficult. Scott needs help. I was afraid of this. Pardon the intrusion, Doctor. My name is Xavier. I've had the opportunity of seeing the X-Men in action, and I've heard of you, Professor. Perhaps you can convince this young man to let me check his eyes. Optometry is my specialty, but I believe I might be able to help him. Nobody can examine my eyes, no matter what happens. He won't take your word for it, Scott. We'll have to convince him as dramatically as possible. Now! This is a mild example of what happens if my protective visor is removed from my eyes, even to the slightest degree. Zap. Good heavens. Wow, this doctor is ripped. We got a doctor that looks like Reed Richards. This doctor is fucking, like, look at that arm. Look at that bicep. Why is his arm even like that? I guess he is wearing a short sleeve. Yeah, that dude does not skip arm day. You mean you cannot control the destructive force of your eyes? You have to keep them shielded all the time? I'm afraid that's it, Doc. It would be worth your life to try... Or what? It would be worth your life to try to remove my visor. What does that mean? I think it meant to say, it wouldn't be worth your life to try to remove my visor. If you're through with your patient, Doctor, I wondered if I might speak with him in private. I was asked to bring him a message from one of the other X-Men. Certainly, Professor. They aren't prisoners here. And a few minutes later... Say nothing yet, Scott. We must be extremely careful to act like casual acquaintances so none suspect my real connection with you. Would you mind wheeling me to that shady arbor, my boy? That's a thing to say to another guy. We're alone now, sir. What is it? Is something wrong? I'm afraid so. I've lost mental contact with the Angel after sending him back to the school. I suspect some danger awaiting us there. Iceman is too ill to be moved, and I prefer the Beast and Marvel Girl to remain here in case they're needed. But you and I had best return to the school at once. I have a feeling that Warren needs us. I'll get your car, sir. It's parked just around the corner. Then, after an hour of breakneck driving... There's the school at last. Have you managed to contact... Oh, no, that's Scott. There's the school at last. Have you managed to contact the Angel mentally yet, Professor? No, and that's what worries me. I seem to sense some sort of mental barrier around the school, something my own mutant brain cannot penetrate. The barrier is stronger than ever here inside. Take every precaution, Cyclops. There is some great power being used against us. Angel? This is Psych. Do you read me? Where are you, fella? 2 additional victims for me. I must make sure they do not get bored. Professor, listen. What's that? My Cerebro machine. The danger is even greater than I feared. The machine seems to be going bad. The menace must be incredibly close. I'll shut it off before it deafens us. Cerebro only reacts that way when a dangerous mutant threatens. That means some powerful Homo Superior has invaded this building. And is waiting to attack even now. He must have already overcome Angel, and we don't even know who he is. Only the most powerful of mutants could prevent me from mentally reaching out to him. We must learn who he is while we still can. Professor, behind you, look out! It's a mechanical mental wave distorter. The one type of weapon I cannot fight. It's blacking out my brain. I can't think. Oh. I'll rip it off. No matter what, I'll... A transparent shield had dropped down between us. Someone's playing a cat and mouse game with us. In any game like that, it's Cyclops who turns into the cat. Wow, okay. Let me do this one-liner justice. In any game like that, it's Cyclops who turns into the cat, into a power-blasting tiger. What a fucking cheeseball. I love it. But no sooner does Cyclops' blistering force beam strike the strange invisible shield than it causes an explosive backlash which sends the startled mutant reeling. Boom! Ah! Then, regaining his footing once more, the courageous youth again approaches the strange barrier, but with far greater caution. It's been previously prepared to hurl back the force of my own ocular blast. Whoever is responsible for it knows about my power. Otherwise, he could have never created such an ingenious defense. Blast the floor? Crawl underneath, maybe? I don't know. Torque the floor. Next, without warning, the lights, they've gone out. The entire building's been plunged into total darkness. And now, X-Man, you shall learn how totally powerless you are against me. That voice sounded familiar, almost as if thought. Whoever you are, forget that my force beam is just as effective in dark as in the light. Overconfident fool, I forget nothing. Oof. Before finishing you off, I want to see how useless your much vaunted beam is against genuine power. Whoever he is, he seems to anticipate my every move. But I'm not yet beaten yet. My force beam still has plenty of energy left. Wherever you are, I'll get you. I'll blast this room in every direction. Then, having described a perfect circle... Then, having described a perfect circle with his awesome power beam, Cyclops tensely stops, holds his breath, and waits, listening for the sound of a falling body. A sound that never comes. Nothing. If he's still in here, he has some sort of power which is impervious to my own force blast. He must have planned this whole thing carefully. The advantage is his now, unless I can reach the light switch before he stops me. Nice try, X-Man, but a futile one. I expected you to race for the switch. Brad. And now it is time to end the charade, by using only my hammering fist so that you still cannot be certain of what my true power is. And, as the now helpless Cyclops slumps to the floor, we return once again to the hospital where we find... Henry P. McCoy, I thought you were practically an invalid. That was an hour ago, ma'am. You know how quickly we mutants recuperate. It's nothing like some capricious calisthenics to while away the lethargic day. Holy fucking shit. Let's try that again. Nothing like some capricious calisthenics to while away a lethargic day. I guess this is where he begins his rhyming bullshit that he does in the cartoon. I hope not. But enough of my exemplary epithets. What do I owe the honor of your sudden visitation? Honestly, Hank, can't you even speak like any ordinary normal human being? I do, Ginny. It's just that I employ officious adjectives to do it. Oh, you're just impossible. Very perspicacious of you. Very perspicacious of you, wench. And therein lies my charm. Very yet well, young man. I shall hold you in the air telekinetically until you promise to settle down and listen to me. Prattle away then, female. You have my undivided attention. Well, it's about time. Hank, I'm worried. The professor and Cyclops are gone, and so is their car. Angel is also gone, and there hasn't been a word from any of them.
Just like a woman, if someone isn't fracturing your eardrums every conceivable minute, you begin to fear that something's amiss. You promise you'd be serious. I'm sorry, Jean. Perhaps you've some justification for your concern. It isn't like the others to leave us incommunicado. What a word. It isn't like the others to leave us incommunicado. If they went anywhere, it would be to the school. Perhaps that should be our next destination. I hoped you'd say that, Hank. But first, let's check on Iceman. Still no change in his condition, Doc. I'm afraid not, son. But we have him under round-the-clock observation. Do everything you can for him, Doctor. He's got to come out of that coma. He will be all right, won't he? I mean, you don't think there's a chance, Bill? I can't answer that, young lady. His physical makeup is so different from anything medical science is familiar with that we can do nothing but wait and hope. But he's got to pull through. He was like my own brother to me. You can do it. You human popsicle, I know you can. I know it's important to you to keep your identity secret, but if you know his parents, I suggest they be notified as soon as possible. Then you do think it's very serious? We've dallied long enough. We've got to contact the others. If anything happens to Iceman, I can't even think of it. Don't think of it. Concentrate at the task at hand. We've got to reach our headquarters with all deliberate speed. You're heading for the open window. Naturally. We're only 3 stories up. Such a leap is a mere bagatelle to the beast. And you have your telekinesis. Of course, I forgot. I can float myself down gently by means of my power of levitation. And that same power will easily lift me over the outer wall. As for me, my method is somewhat less subtle but equally effective, nonetheless. Finally, after a spectacular succession of running, leaping, gliding, and teleporting with myo-consuming gymnastic skill, the 2 marvelous mutants reach their goal. It seems quite so foreboding. Stay behind me, lass. I'll charge in first at top speed to bear the brunt of whatever awaits us. But even the agile beast is not prepared for this simple yet startling, dangerous surprise that confronts him. Something happened to the hallway. Everything has been coated in a wax-like gloss. There's no friction, nothing to hold on to. It's like being a satellite in space. There's no way to check our momentum, no way to stop. No matter what I've reached, the wall, ceiling, floor, they're all smooth as glass. Jeannie will be all right because she entered slowly, but I hurled like a projectile. Even my natural agility can't help me now. I've got to keep sliding along, out of control until I reach... what? It's moving so fast, even with my telekinetic power operating at full intensity, I can't exert enough force upon him to slow him down. In front of him, there's a door. It's sliding open. It must be part of the trap. Stay back, girl. You can't help me, but there may be time to save yourself. Run! Run! And then, the desperate domination of Hank McCoy is drowned out by the sound of heavy steel doors beginning to roll together again. Run! Can't pry it open. I can't reach him. Naturally. This is how I planned it. That voice behind me, whoo. We meet again, model girl. A pity it must be for the last time. Shoo! How pathetic. Do you really feel that your feeble kinetic power can have any effect upon someone as supremely powerful as I? It's all up to me now. I must stop him. I must. So, you choose not to answer me. You prefer to keep struggling to the end. A noble if useless gesture. He's coming closer, but how? Why isn't he affected by my... Excuse me. Why isn't my power affecting him? What's wrong with me? Why do I feel myself growing weaker? By now, you should be starting to realize that you have been inhaling odorless sleep gas, which has dulled your brain and hence your kinetic power as well. And that's why my knees are sagging. Can't keep my eyes open. So weak. But you haven't won yet. I won't give up. None of us will ever give up. I'm gonna maybe take a guess this is Lucifer. Maybe. It's it could be Lucifer, Unis maybe, but this seems too smart for Unis. We'll see. That no longer matters, you little fool. The episode is ended. Only one of your numbers remains to be beaten, and he is the weakest of all. Thus, the era of the X-Men is over at last. Even as those fateful words are being intoned, back at the hospital we find... That's your call, John. Anything serious? It could be. It means my frozen X-Men patient has returned to the moment of crisis. We got the loudspeaker. Dr. Thomas, report to... You're Dr. John Thomas, aren't you? Need some questions to ask you. Since Iceman has been your patient, have you managed to thaw him out and discover his real identity? Sorry, no time to talk to newsmen. Now, hold on, Doctor. We represent the affiliated press. We have over 30 million readers throughout the free world. You would want to make those 30 million people to think you didn't care about them, would you? They can take 30 million jumps in the lake, and so can you. I've got a patient in there who may be dying, and that's about all I care about. Now, get out before I have you blown out. Sorry for the delay, nurse. What's wrong? What happened? It's his pulse, Doctor. It's slowing down. I don't know what to do. I hate to admit it, but neither do I. They need me. I know they do. They need me. He's been delirious again, mumbling to himself for hours. I've never felt so helpless before. I mustn't fail them. Not when they need me. It's almost though he hears voices that we can't hear, as though someone is calling to him, depending on him. Hold yourself together, nurse. Here's some new medication I want right away. It's a new drug, very potent. We've got to list it. But what of the other X-Men? We had best return to them fast because, from the looks of things, they may not be around much longer. You see, it's just like throwing them in a tank. Like a fucking, shit tank. I regret we cannot wait for the Iceman to join you, but I fear you will have to make your final journey without him. You gonna learn who this turd cutter is? And now, I'll make sure you're all securely locked inside your steel Gundoina. For your own safety, of course. Slam. We wouldn't want you falling out, not after you reach 100,000 feet in the air. 1 second later, you'll orbit the edge of space helpless, out of control, until your small supply of air gives out. And that will be the end of the X-Men forever. While just a scant few miles away from that startling scene, Mr. and Mrs. Warren Worthington began the final lap of their motor trip. I didn't realize how much I missed Ronin. I can't wait to see him, dear. We're only a few minutes away from the school. It won't be long now. One thing has always puzzled me. Professor Xavier has so few students, I don't understand how he can afford to run his school. I always thought he was independently wealthy, just kept his school for a lark. Anyway, he is the most charming. Oh, there's the school now. Strange that no one came to the door. They must have heard our car. Perhaps they're busy with their exams, dear. Well, no matter. I hear someone coming. Shing! Ah, you must be the parents of the student. But who are you? I am Power. Men call me Magneto. I'm surprised. Surprised he just appeared like this and I'm genuinely surprised. Last we saw, he got kidnapped by aliens. So, good for him. He probably should have just crushed them while they were all inside a steel ball, but maybe he didn't really want to kill them, you know? But, let's see. I can say I'm surprised. I thought they were going to go with a more obscure villain. I thought, like, when he came back, he'd, like, round up the boys, you know, the evil mutants. But I'm down. I like Magneto. Let's see, we got any good trivia? Despite repeatedly warning his students not to reveal their identities or connection to him, Professor X calls Beast by a surname on the first panel of page 4. This error was revised in later printings, including the digital version of the issue, and Professor X calls Hank by his code name. So they do fix stuff. Like, so why did they leave in spelling errors, but are suddenly worried about continuity or making Professor X not look stupid? Your guess is as good as mine. But that's where we're going to end things today, folks. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I've been really into comic books lately, so we may go more with this tomorrow. We'll see. But you know me, I get to be a little all over the place, but I think that's part of my charm. But bravo, thanks for hanging out with me all day, Aaron Jones. Nice to see you again. Hopefully your artistic endeavors go well, for whatever it's worth. And, you know, anybody that watches now or later, wherever you are, whatever you are, hang in there. Future can be good. I'll show you. Sometimes it starts with looking at the past. I'll see you tomorrow.
Y'all listen up as I narrate the Vector's tale. A man from afar riding the temporal gale. Ronin by name and a Ronin by fate. In the tapestry of time he's got a date. He ain't just saving, he's exploring the rift. In the timelines he travels, he's given a lift. Seeking tech and secrets in a world that's gone astray. Ronin's the man who's gonna find a way. Ronin Vector, the chrono navigator. In the flow of time, he's the prime innovator. Exploring the realms where few dare to venture. He's the Ronin Vector, the timeline's avenger. From a future so bright to our present so bleak, he's the silent watcher, the tech he does seek. Not just a savior, but a seeker of lore. Ronin's the key to what we're looking for. Through the ruins and the relics, he's making his mark. A beacon of hope in the timeline so dark. With every secret he finds, every piece he retrieves. He's crafting a future nobody believes. Ronin Vector, with the vision so clear. In the shadows of time, he's got nothing to fear. An explorer at heart, with a will that won't sever. He's the Ronin vector, forever and ever. So when you feel the ground shake and the air gets colder, know that Ronin's passing by as the world grows older. In the whispers of time, his legends inscribed. Ronin Vector, the man who defied. Ronin Vector, the chrono navigator. In the flow of time, he's the prime innovator. Exploring the realms where few dare to venture. He's the Ronin Vector, the timeline's avenger. Ronin Vector, with a vision so clear. In the shadows of time, he's got nothing to fear. An explorer at heart, with a will that won't sever. He's the Ronin Vector, forever and ever. Forever and ever. So when you feel the ground shake and the air gets colder, know that Ronin's passing by as the world grows older. In the whispers of time, his legend